Hey guys, welcome back, John Megacycle here, an episode of Industry Giant 2. This title's absolutely another absolute classic for me in my book. I absolutely love this game. This one is modeled after, if you're familiar with let's see, Transport Tycoon Deluxe. It's also an open version called OpenTTD right now. There's, let's see, Locomotion. Those are some of the older ones I can think of. Some of the newer ones that have come out that have been modeled a lot off of this same kind of a game setup have been like, what were they called? Like Transport Empire. There's Trucking Empire. Like there's been so many spin-offs of this, like I don't even remember the names. But this is absolutely one of those titles that has stuck with me for years. It's almost like I want to say like a decade. I have no idea how old this game is. But this is absolutely one of those classic titles that I was so happy to find on GOG.com and I wanted to share with you. So I think I finally got my character model set up. Oh boy, it is lagging bad. Okay. Is it just that? Okay, I'm never clicking that menu again. I don't know what happened, but oh my gosh. Is everything else kinda? Everything else seems to be running fine. Just this player menu. So I am, let's just go through this, Megacycle Industries. I am blue, I think? Red? I can't tell which button's selected, but I've got the Grecian flag right there. So I'm going to go through and I wanted to do the campaign with you guys. We're going to go all the way from easy. I've gone through easy to hard. I don't believe I've ever played these three, the Banana Republic, Rockstone, or Z-Files, but we're going to have some fun with that. Now, the way in which this game operates is there's a campaign, and actually, let's go back a little bit. There's also a different mode called Endless. Endless is pretty much exactly what you'd think. You pick a map, you pick some end goals, and then you play. You can play with competitors, with not competitors, whatever. It doesn't really matter. For the campaign, there's going to be a set of missions broken down by difficulty, and then these are the, I don't know, what would you call these? They're campaigns, but scenarios. And they're pretty much the same. So we'll start off in easy. Each one starts off on a map. It's a little hard to see, but the map is here in the lower right. And then there's all these things here that give us hints, clues, tips on how we need to finish this map and what the requirements are. So, map small. This is Bart County, first of all. Map small. Initial year is 1900. The end of the mission is 1905, so we need to complete it by then. Campaign easy, mission 1. The description is, you have got limited available capital. Fortunately, you've decided to invest in a business enterprise instead of squandering it. As your capital is rather small, it is strongly recommended you start your business career in the agricultural sector. Excuse me. Your target is to double your initial capital within 5 years. It is to say you ought to have at least $4 million in your account by 1905. You can either plant fruit or try and make money with chicken farms and cattle ranches. Good luck. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get this started. I don't know why the audio gets really loud as the map loads. I don't know if you caught that spike. And there we go. So what we have here is our mission goal. This is the first screen that pops up. We've got our time limit, our cash, our goals, everything is right here, but I've already read it off. Also, what we'll get are random events. Right off the gate, we have fine weather. Fine weather can be expected for the next few years. Harvest yield should therefore reach the average of the previous years. That's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and turn time down. I'm going to slam the minus key, minus and plus, to decrease or increase the time. But that's a simple thing. I want to go through the interface and everything just so we have an idea, since this is our first time with Industry Giant, you and I together. So right click, we'll hold the mouse. Well, oh man, I'm already off to a good start. Hang on just a second. There's something I need to change in the options. It is that right there. The birds. I don't know if you can hear them, but they are loud as crap. This is one of the first games actually that I ever saw also had skins. So I'm going to change the skin to brushed steel, and you'll notice there's some color changes. Nothing super fancy though. Oh, not quite there yet. So hang on. Did I get all the options? Yeah, let's go back to standard. Vehicles, soundtrack, vehicle and building effects. That's what I wanted to get rid of. So go ahead, close that. The way this game works is the closer you are to the object, the louder it gets, but like for police sirens and birds, it gets just loud as crap. So anyway, we're holding down the right mouse button, mouse key, mouse thingy, doing a little scrolling, getting that figured out. In the lower right, we do have our mini-map. We can drag this and move this around wherever we like. That's pretty awesome. In the far lower right, we have the time of the date, the date, not time of date, the date and how much money we have. Let's see here. From the left side, we have quit. So back to the main menu, load save, options. These are probably really hard to read at this resolution, but I do want to go through them anyway. So those first three we're not really going to care about. Product help. This is really great to show you what vehicles are available on the market for purchase and use, and then what vegetables, products, fruits, livestock, whatever, manufactured goods, all these things that are available for you to produce and make and whatever. So this shows regular demand, what it requires to be produced. Since this is the first level, there's no real manufacturing we have to deal with. These are products that we're just going to set up one structure, it'll produce that commodity, end of story. So that is the lexicon of products. Our mini-map right there in the lower right enables, disables that. News, this is where all the reports, any updates about vehicles, anything like that will appear. You can go ahead and delete all the news, keep it clean. I certainly like to. The next tab here is the vehicle list. We don't have any vehicles, but this breaks down by truck, train, ships, and aircraft. Also, you can show and hide what they're carrying, repair schedules, all that rigmarole. So there's that. We don't have any vehicles right now, so I kind of don't care. The next one looks like little pawn pieces. They are the opponent informations. We don't have any opponents, so no big deal. This is the statistics. This shows how many vehicles, how many buildings, what we're producing, all that rigmarole. And this is for the real people that like the statistics of it. This is nice. It comes up with nice graphs and everything. We're not producing anything, so nothing's showing up. Our balance sheet, this shows our ins, our outs, our turnovers, our profits, that kind of a thing. Company value, profit, yeah, pretty much. Pretty self-explanatory here. It's all going to be full of zeros and empty until we actually do something. And then, of course, last but not least, the mission goals, which is what we saw originally when the game loaded up. Now, our idea is to make $2 million, so we need to double our monies, our monies. And what we're going to do is we're going to sell products to these towns. So let's find a nice town. Let's just use the mini-map here. The big blotches of white on the map are the actual, well, cities or towns or what have you. With the more shops and stuff you bring in, they will expand on their own. Oh, actually, look at it. I just caught a glimpse right here. See this little dozer dude? He's actually adding on to the city. And now that I clicked on the city, can I move this? Can't move that. Okay. Let's go over Danville right here. A number of inhabitants. The more people in a city, the more people will buy your product. That's just straightforward. Town growth, shops, donations, and charity structures and stuff like that will increase the positive influence with how quickly the town grows. Farms being placed too close to the city, factories being placed too close to the city, and a few other unsavory options will increase the negative influence, which is bad. There's also another positive influence here. I think shops go on the top, and the culture buildings and charity buildings you build go on the bottom. But we're not going to worry about that. This is just mission 1. There's not really much to this. Now let's go over the straight logistics of the matter, shall we? We'll actually start in Whitefish. There's 3 pieces of the logistics puzzle we need to contend with. First of all is the factory. The factory, quote-unquote, even though some of these aren't really factories, like the cattle ranch, I wouldn't call it a factory, but this is the factory icon, all the same. This is where we produce our product. As we move the mouse around, we can see it interacting with the map, which is really cool. Also, as you see me moving it from the green over this brown stuff to more green, you can see that number changing. And like I said, at this resolution, it might be difficult. But it shows and it interacts directly with the map on what its effects will be on either the local population of a town or a village, or how much yield we can get per year, that sort of a thing. So I'm going to do the same thing with the cattle ranch. See how the town turns purple, and the same thing with the hen farm. These factories are unsavory, and building them too close like this to make them purple is a negative effect on the city. Now, any part of the city you build it near will affect all of the city. So here, if I put it down here, I'm not anywhere near the downtown area, but it still affects the city. So it's just something to note. Negative influence isn't something we should worry about this early in the game, but it is something you are going to have to pay attention to if you do an endless or a really long mission, because we want these cities to grow, right? The second part of the logistics chain is storage. Storage is flopped down. It holds so many squares, which holds so much product worth of stuff. That didn't make any sense. Anyway, small storage right here has a capacity of 64. Each square in it holds 16 items of any item. But once an item's in the slot, it can only hold that. So, 16 times 4 is 64. There we go. And as we go up, so that was 4 slots. The medium is 9 slots. And the large is 16 slots? That sounds right. Yeah. 4 times 4 is 16. Right. So this is the second piece of logistics puzzle. Third piece of logistics puzzle is the store. I don't know why I'm talking that way. Is the store itself. Here is where the products are sold. You see how the buildings are in a yellow pattern now? These are the places that this store will sell product to. There we go. Man, I don't know why I'm not talking super great have English today, but no can super have good English. We're going to need a couple of these grocery stores to cover the entire city, so let's do that. You can build on top of buildings like this. This will demolish 4 buildings. It'll give us much better coverage, but that's also negative influence. So I like to do as small of an impact as possible. So there, I have to take out 1 building to get there, 1 building to get here. That gives us good coverage. Now, same thing with the grocer. Let me explain. You see all the numbers and the icons there? That shows the demand per product per season. So it goes spring, summer, fall, winter, and like let's say for fruit. For all of spring, the demand will be 7. I think it's spring first. Hang on, maybe it's winter first. It has been a while since I played. No, it is spring first. Okay. So, let's go back to the shop. For spring, let's put it back to where it about was. There. For spring, for all 3 months of spring, if I put it right here, the people will demand or purchase 6 fruit. For summer, 7. For fall, 7. For winter, 5. Okay? So that just shows the demand of how much product we can potentially sell. Now, I have a store here, and I have a store here. So if I put a store here, even though it's reading really high, these stores are in competition with each other. My stores are, and my opponent's stores will be as well. So you can't just plunk down 30 stores and call it a day. Now, this is the storage piece. This is that second part of logistics I was talking about. See how some of the grocery stores are turning green and gray, or green and not, as I move this around? This is where it shows the stores can pick up product. So what I like to do is, for this first mission anyways, build this thing far enough away so it gets every bit of coverage. Yeah, this is the farthest I could put it away. The best amount of coverage for my stores, but farthest away from the city. Boom. So large storage. I probably didn't need large storage, but that's okay. I wanted to go a little crazy. Now, what we could do, instead of building it so close, we can actually transport this stuff by either truck or train this early in the game. So those are options if we want to make the drop-off point here, but make a harvest point here where we're gathering the product and shipping it to other cities and towns. That's very much a possibility. But this way, with the Johnny method, we don't have to use any sort of transport. Because, as we get a little closer, see how the warehouse is green? Oh, hang on, let me scroll a little bit here. See how the warehouse turns green and then empty? It's the same situation. This facility can drop off its product right to that warehouse without needing any sort of transport logistics. Works out pretty nice. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to build 2 here, 1 for milk, 1 for beef. I want a hen farm. And this I want to build a little farther away. Perfect. Now that we have our 3 facilities, we're a little low on cash, we only have $500,000 left. Let's turn these things on. Up here, now that I clicked on the cattle ranch, I select the product. We have no production, meat, and milk. Okay? On the left side, it shows, excuse me, I'm all hiccupy. It shows the base cost, worker cost, cost per unit, possible units per month, and selling price per unit. What you could do here is, now that we've selected the product, we can select the utilization, or how much of the factory we're turning on, and then how much are we paying the workers. Both of these things modify how much product you can make. So I'm going to max out the milk. There we go, nice little animation there. I'm going to max out the meats. There we go. And I'm going to max out the eggs. Now this is a really simple, easy way to figure out if this is enough, is we could just let this run for several months and see if we have extra product. But let's do a little bit of sleuthing first. Now that I clicked on the grocery store, all of the products that the grocery store will sell are listed. The fruit, the meat, the milk, the eggs. By clicking on these, we can see what the demand is. It's all listed right here. Spring, summer, fall, winter. What we can also do is we can mess with the prices. Excuse me. If we have too much product in stock, we can reduce the price to increase the demand. We can also, we can decrease the price to increase demand. Sorry. We can also increase the price to reduce demand. Oh my gosh, I should have had some coffee before this. Anyway, so that's fairly self-explanatory on each of the products. So let's do a little bit of a look here. Let's take a look at meat. Meat demands 5 from this grocery store. And meat demands 5 in this grocery store. So I need 10 meat. We're only producing 7.6, so I'm going to want another factory. I'm doing a little bit of preemptive looking around here to make sure that this is correct. You know, I'm still on frozen time right now. Now, I could set up a whole nother factory to produce another 5 meat. What I think I'm going to do instead is, since I'm only a little bit behind, is I'm going to increase the price a little bit here. There we go. Increase the price there. And just a little bit here. That's good. Okay. As the town grows, again, more demand will come. But this is a really short map. This is only a few years. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it on. That way we can get some of the game going. We've already fine-tuned meat. There's not this much fine-tuning you should be doing this early in the game. What we can do, instead of fine-tuning a lot of that stuff, we can fine-tune it at the warehouse. Now that I click the warehouse, it shows what products it has. Again, each of these slots hold one type of product, but they hold 16 of that product. That being said, on the right side, we can actually break it down to what products we want to store how much of. These are regarded as slots. How many of these slots do we want filled with what? So I could say, let's see, this is 16 slots total. I want no more than 3 of them to have cow products. So 3 of the slots could be full of meat, 3 of the slots could be full of milk, and they will never get any higher. Eggs, let's do the same thing, 3. So that's 3, 6, 9 of my slots taken out of 16. That gives me 7 slots free no matter what. Okay? Pretty straightforward there. What that allows me to do is ship in more product, and there will always be room in the warehouse for that product. Because I'm not allowing eggs to go crazy. Now the end of the month is about to happen. Let's watch the eggs. See how we didn't sell completely out of eggs or steak? Or beefs? Or whatever that is? The thing is, over time, the eggs will overflow everything. So we're just going to wait and watch another month or two, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. See what I mean? We leave that alone for too long. That's just going to overflow with eggs and beef. Is it beef or is it steak? I keep calling it beefs. It is steak. No, it is just meat. Okay, very good. Whatever. So that putting that little governor on there is going to make sure that we don't have to micromanage so much. And speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and turn down the price of meat again. Boop. That works. That'll sell us out of that. So, let's take a look at some of the charts and stuff while we've got some money coming in. Our mission goal, our current cash is updated. That is the correct amount of cash I have. I need 4 mil in cash. Our balance sheet should be updating pretty well. Yep. This works a lot better if you go a couple of years. You see it goes from 1990 to 1980, even though the mission only goes to 1905. So this is on a yearly track. It's a little difficult to see any change. but you do get all the numbers if there's any of this stuff that interests. For these first few missions, I don't care about too much about the statistics, but it's kind of helpful later. Let's see here. We don't have any vehicles, but the production is kind of interesting. So this shows how much we're making out of what's the most profitable thing that we've got going on. Of course, cattle ranches, it's reading our best because it's 2 products, whereas the hen farm is just 1 product. We don't have any farms, so that takes care of that. Total this year sold items or what have you. Let's see. I think that's really all that needs to be said about that stuff. But now that we have this market going pretty nice, I'm actually going to reduce the price of eggs. Messing with the prices of stuff is far more important when you're dealing with competitors. That's where that's really going to pay off, because you can undercut your competitors and make a much tidier profit. So we've got 1 farm system set up. Let's go set up another one. We have to win this in 5 years, which is a cakewalk, but I want to make sure we've got the time to do it. Let's see here. Danville. That's some pretty good coverage right there. Maybe we just do 1 shop with this one. Okay, didn't have to destroy anything. I always go large storage spaces. I know it's a bit of a waste, but gosh darn it, I likes it. Alright, we got more than enough money. We could set up both of our farms. Yep, those are good numbers right there, boy. Good numbers. Nope, crap. Okay. So when you click on the farm, you'll see where it's transporting to. So if I click on this farm, see how that lit up green? It's transporting there by itself. This one, I accidentally built too far, and it's not transporting anywhere. Now, if you destroy something, you don't get your money back. You're not selling the structure, you're literally demolishing it. You don't sell the building to anyone, and that makes that sad. So you gotta be really, really careful where you plant your stuff, because if you just spent, whatever, $1 million on a new factory, that sucks when you gotta blow it up. Okay, we'll do the same thing here with the warehouse. 3 and 3. Thank you. And there we go. Should get some pretty tidy profits at the end of this month. Just coming up pretty quick, yeah? Very nice. Almost 100,000. Now at the end of the month, you might notice these numbers. These numbers show the profits that you've made, any money that you brought in, that sort of a thing, from some of the sales of stores or sales in stores. Oh my gosh. And then also you notice there's these red numbers popping out. These are per item expenses to make a product. The bigger number that pops up is the monthly expenses. Employee wage, upkeeping the factory, that kind of a thing. But every single product requires a cost per unit, no matter what. So there's always going to be a cost aside from the personnel and whatever else to make the product. Okay, that takes care of that nicely. Our profit should be looking pretty darn solid now. We're in June of 1901. And we've got another 4 years, 3.5 years or so to get this cleaned up. We're investing in more and more of this infrastructure. Well, it's not even infrastructure. I mean, this is pretty direct sales. So that's pretty good that we keep building. And now we have more money to build yet another one. Let's see here. Is there anywhere else that would be worthwhile? It takes a lot of energy to build up smaller towns and smaller cities, but it can be very worth it if you get in early. Now see, I'm not seeing a lot of product here for Port Alice. This land is kinda bleh. But still to point, might be interesting. Let's see here. Decent sales in Darrington. Eaglewood, anything good? Inglewood? Whatever. Not really. We're gonna keep to the south here. This land is very, very lush. Quite good for sales. Ooh, easy boy. We could just speed this up, but I do want to go over, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 more things with you guys. We can talk about transportation while we've got the time and the cash. Let's see, where were we? Oh, we already did Danville. Is Brewster any good for sales? Let's take a gander. You know what? Let's do it. Why not? I'm going to chuck a store there and there. And let's get large. There we go. Okay. So now, what we have here is in the immediate vicinity. I don't think any of this stuff is decent for growing anything. No, it's not close enough to the warehouse. So we're going to have this a little bit off. This will give me an opportunity to go over travel logistics as well. What we want to do is we want to maximize our product. The fewer the factories, the better. So let's say there for milk, there for meat, and I don't know. There for eggs looks great. We're going to do the same thing with the storage. Right about there looks good. These can go, I don't know, 3s all around. 3 kinds of products, limit of 3. Works good. I'm not going to set a limit over here. No need to. Now, the logic of this goes the exact same way as everything else. We've got trucks, we got trains. Let's do, for simplicity's sake, let's just do trains. This distance is pretty short for a train, but it doesn't much matter to me. We'll get the product moved a bit quicker. Same thing, the facility turns green when it's within range. Let's just go up here. And I do want this to be a straight shot because I'm weird like that. That looks good. And a track. It's very cut, paste, easy, pretty easy stuff. There's not a ton of crazy you need to worry about. The only other thing we do need to concern ourselves about is, oh, you know what? I don't have repair stations unlocked. That's okay. No big deal. We're going to go ahead and build a train. By clicking on the station, we get the prompt for a new vehicle. This has the statistics of every vehicle on the left, the kinds of vehicles on the right, and we can kind of figure out which one we want. I want the lowest operating costs, just to finish off this map. You can select a train. You can also select multiples of that unit to be bought, which is very awesome for trucks and awesome for boats and airplanes. Really cool. Okay, we have our train load up screen. Can I move this? Yeah, we can. Totally. Awesome. We select what products we want loaded in. Let's say a meat, a milk, 2 eggs. We can say wait until done, which means don't leave the station until you're full. And then we click on the station we're going to, and we hit go, and that's that. For steam locomotive in service, this thing will wait until we have any product. Now, I should have gotten these things started, but that's okay. The land is pretty fresh, and it won't take long for us to get stuff going. We can also set up multiple tracks. Boom, boom. Okay. What I can do now is I can also do something called cloning. Cloning will literally clone the last vehicle or the vehicle you have selected. So here's what I'm going to do. A little tricky. I'm going to change the path of this train, but before I save it, I'm going to hit clone. And I see how he's always using this bottom track to go from station to station, and now I change it to the up track. Watch this. Clone. There it is. Now, it is cloning whatever I had selected, not the train whose status is saved. I know that's a little confusing, but right now they're using both of the tracks on their own. They're bringing fresh product in. Now we have a distribution network. Now, we could also have used this kind of a model to just have 5 or 6 farms in a row and transport it everywhere, but I wanted to give you both sides of the coin. First off, using a network that requires no vehicles whatsoever, like we have right here. This is all magic hands. This is kind of how I call it, magic hands from one facility to another. Then we don't have to do anything. It's just put in the warehouse and then put in the store. Pretty simple stuff. And the second side of the coin was also building the transportation network, this logistics network and distribution network that we now have, that we could take the products from these facilities and branch them out. Good, making a bit of money here. I'm probably not making a lot, considering the tech is very early. We're not really selling a ton of product, and agricultural goods are relatively cheap in this game. Yeah, look at that. That's just full. Now what I can do is I can fire the workers. I could do a couple of things to reduce costs, but I'm not worried about that. Now that we click on Danville, and it's been a while, positive influences shops. So that really means that the shops are actually being a positive influence on this town. That's what's important. That's what's going to encourage growth. So that's pretty awesome. Of course, that's going to take time, and that's still going to take more positive influence for it to show a difference. And it's going to be reflected in town growth right here. But, like I said, this is an easy early mission. I'm not super worried about it. What we can do also to speed things up is we can start building a few farms. Farms operate the exact same way as everything else. You select a product, you select the utilization, you select the salary, and that's about it. Now, farms can only ever produce, I think it's 46 pieces of fruit or anything. So if you're on really, really good land and it's already at 46, I think it's 46, I could be wrong. There's no point increasing the labor because it can already only produce that much. Let me see if I can find one. 36, 33. Yeah, there's going to be times where increasing that utilization value does you no good. So we'll do this instead. Another farm. Cool. Can I get another farm right here? 25. Good enough for me. The same thing with agricultural products. You have a seed month and a harvest month. This process happens once a year. So if it plants in February and harvests in July or something, that only happens once a year. There's not another opportunity to plant more stuff. That's just how it works. That's how agriculture works. You can't plant corn 3 or 4 times a year. You can only plant corn once. So, as we're paying attention here, in June, so it's May already, I'm going to speed up the clock just a little bit here to get this going. New vehicle available. Excellent. Another thing that I might not have mentioned is as the game progresses, new technology comes out. With this new tech, we can purchase it, we can upgrade old vehicles to it, we can do a couple of things. But I'm not super interested right now. There we go. So the animation for the planting of the crops, the maturing of said crops, this harvests in September. It's already July. There we go. It should be pretty quick. We're already midway through August. So I'm kind of expanding out this first mission a bit. I can knock this out really quick, but there's a lot of good stuff I wanted to show you for at least the first episode. There we go, we're in September. The crops are being harvested, they're delivered right to the warehouse. Nice harvest, very good. And that's going to easily put us over because now we're selling yet another product. You have 100,000, 80,000. I thought I saw 120,000 there. What did I see? Yeah, we made $40,000 just on fruit. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And since we can only harvest once a year, we've got a bunch of stuff stored up we'll be able to sell for quite a few months. Pretty happy with how that worked. Yeah, we'll break our form. Oh. Okay. Looks like we won. I must have right-clicked at right the wrong time. You get a little display that says, hey, congratulations. You can check your stats, you can keep playing, you can quit. So apparently right-click is the equivalent of quitting. So we finished that mission, no problem. Just to show you where the rest of the campaign goes, it kicks you to the main menu, and then that unlocks the next mission. So, I think that's pretty good for an introductory look at Industry Giant 2. Thank you all for joining me. My name is John Megacycle, and I hope to see you guys next time.